Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today is 11/11 and I am about to join the meeting for Tasha and Alex. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allah grant me ease and a clear mind as I discuss matters with the opposing party. Help me see clearly. Help my words be clear. Help my communication. Give me what I need in order to make my thoughts, emotions, and actions come out the way that they should, and the party receive them and the intentions that I'm trying to present them to. Help them understand what it is that they are hearing and move forward in the most positive direction for unification of the Jackson family. All right. Mm. Today is 9 o'clock. 9. Am I in the room? Today, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Yeah, that's 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Oh, there we go.
Sorry.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Sorry about that. I
That's
was
all right.
talking to myself and I guess couldn't hear me.
It happens.
Alright. So, good morning. How's
Good.
everyone doing? Or how are you doing?
I'm not sure if Tasha is having the same experience, but you're very choppy, like very robotic.
I'm choppy.
Yes.
Okay. Let me try. Hold on. I might have to get out and then get back in, okay?
I think you're gonna get out and get back in.
Give me 1 second.
Okay. I guess that was right.
What about now?
No, I mean I'm.
Still choppy?
Yeah, you're choppy for me. I don't know how Tasha is experiencing this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's choppy. It's choppy for me too. I have the flu, so I'm not gonna talk unless it's necessary.
Can you hear each other though?
Because I'm coughing a lot and stuff. So
Can you hear each other not choppy?
Yeah, I can hear George just fine. It's just you.
Okay, sorry. Just, I'm trying to fix it, but I'll let you guys kind of do your thing. So I'm gonna start off with we're gonna talk about so we're gonna speak about values, but I do kind of want to set some ground rules. So I just want to make sure, like we're gonna let both of each other's talk.
Alex.
Yeah, Alex.
Alex, we can't understand anything you're saying.
Yeah.
Let's try all of us leave the meeting and start a new one, maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Your microphone is on.
Can you both hear me now?
Much better.
Okay, so sorry about that. I'm not sure what was going on. But I was gonna just set some ground rules, and so we were gonna go ahead and talk about the two items that we had today. But I did want to go ahead and just make sure that both parties had the chance to talk and there were no interruptions. And then if we could just refrain from like any like names or any kind of like like insults or anything like that, so we can just go ahead and stick to what we can. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds great.
Awesome, perfect. So who would like to go first?
I'm emailing my list so we can talk about it. So
Sounds good.
All
you
right.
should be receiving that in just a few seconds.
All right. So let's see what we got here.
So these are things that
There we go.
just from the last meeting that we had, and then the things that have transpired since. So this list has come from that. So the first thing is that communication needs to be clear and direct.
I agree.
Yes.
And then there needs to be text messages sent for emergencies and other time-sensitive information. So if
I agree with that.
there's an emergency, then that would warrant a text, right? Otherwise, email is sufficient. Or if there's something that's happening immediately, then that needs to be a text message, not an email. And that just is common courtesy, I feel and I believe, because we're busy. Everybody's busy.
Yeah.
I don't always check my email, and even with the notifications, I'm not looking at email notifications. I'm looking at text message notifications. That's my main communication method. And so that's what I'm going to go with. Otherwise, the consequence is going to be I'm going to block George from the email so he can only text.
Okay.
Because, again, I'm not going to negotiate on the modes and methods and everything of communication. Because, again, emergencies are emergencies and they need to be dealt with in a different way.
Text for emergencies and other time-sensitive
The
information.
second
Otherwise, email
is
sufficient.
disrespect towards myself or others
Consequences.
on our team. Sorry, that's supposed to be on.
Let's see.
Will be called out and will need to be corrected immediately. So disrespect includes jabs, direct insults, underhanded comments that are directed or could be indirectly directed towards another. Sorry, the landscapers are outside, and then there's a horrible echo.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. Additional forms of disrespect not mentioned here can be added. So if there's other things that come up, then those can be added to the list later. And then boundaries must be respected for us to move forward. George, Alex, or your professional can provide you with tools and information about what boundaries are and how to respect them. So from now, I will state I am setting a boundary with you, and then if you cross a boundary, I will state you are disrespecting boundaries now. And then that way you start to recognize, understand, and realize what the boundary is that you're crossing.
Hold on. Looks like something.
Setting them, enforcing them. But if we're not all on the same page, then this is not going to work. So this is not a criticism. This is not disrespect to you. This is just pulling out those elements that, or identifying those elements that are what I'm talking about here in item number 3. Invalidation of our thoughts, feelings, and desires will not be tolerated. At this time, your children are focused on their therapy, their personal therapy goals, and have repeatedly asked you for space and time to heal and to get themselves together. And they don't feel that they are receiving that. And so not understanding the consequences of your actions have on your children is creating more distance. And I've been trying to explain this to you, but maybe drawing it out here in bullet points, step by step, will help you to start to understand what the consequences of your actions are. Again, the only person here fighting an adversarial game is you. That's it. I'm trying to work with you.
That's a jab.
So believing my settlement is a trick, trap, or coercion means that we will not progress forward in a healthy dynamic. So again, I am trying to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're triggered by that, then that might be something that you need to talk with your healthcare professional about.
Mm-hmm.
Focus should remain on our therapy goals, not court. Since we cannot agree on most things, the best way to attempt to have the full resolution of the dispute is through court.
Okay. Okay.
And if you could just send me yours so that because since I'm not feeling well and the landscapers are outside and there's a horrible echo, I would just want to make sure that I'm processing what you're saying correctly. So yes, if you could please send me yours in a written form, that would be much appreciated.
Gotcha. So I don't have any issues with the majority of what she said. I mean, half of this is something that I've already said to her in the beginning. Yeah, these are fair so far. However, the last one, 5. If why are we here then? If we're here, why are we here if we need to go to court and settle things that way? I'm not understanding the two. Plus, I wasn't like this mediation, and this is more so of a question than a boundary. This mediation, because the email, I don't really feel like this is mediation for the matters that we're having. This is just setting up, a plan to get family therapy. You agree, I agree. The request has been submitted in. I'm not sure if it has been submitted in, but the request is going to be submitted in, and we're moving forward. And then the outcome of that is the outcome of that. So to classify this as mediation, um, I don't really I don't really think so. Plus, I didn't agree to
So that's what I
mediation
put
with
down,
you.
George. I do apologize for that. It's just something I wrote
I understand.
in the title of the meeting.
No, I totally understand. I just I have been, um, like she said in there, clear and concise. I've been subjugated to not that, and I don't want this to be used later saying, "Hey, we did mediation. Look at the email subject title," when this is not mediation. Okay, but I
Okay,
will.
that's okay. I can go ahead and I'll change it later, and then if there are any issues, I will go ahead and bring forth that it was me. Again, it wasn't Tasha's doing anything like that. I just happened to put that as a title.
No, no
And
problem.
then
No
I do
problem.
want to bring up
No problem.
the so and for both parties to be clear, it's just when we're reading your boundaries, it's just letting the other party know that that is what you are setting for your boundaries, and so um, those are the boundaries that Tasha is setting, regardless of whether you're doing them already or not. I believe that it's just to let know, right, and put on paper and writing what they look like, and then for you as well.
Yeah. I understand that, and my boundaries it's gonna mirror a lot of hers, where clear and concise communication is absolutely needed, and in the event that it is not, um, you know, immediately upon hearing that needs to be clarified so that we are on the same page, so that we can move forward. So that really is my sole boundary there, and because I believe that that is going to be what is needed in order to take the next step. Oh,
Do you just
So
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna
in
jump in
writing?
and say two things. The first thing is that I understand that this is not a mediation and that the subject of the email was not correct. So I just want to clarify that.
yeah. I mean, we
And then
already addressed
also,
that.
George, I
Yeah.
am okay with you recording our sessions, but if you could just please move your recording device further away, because the echo on my side and Alex's side
Yeah,
is
it's
horrible. But when you talk, there is no echo. So if you could just move the phone or whatever you have recording the session away, that would be great. Again, I don't have a concern about you recording the sessions with Alex. I'm okay with that. Just please, if you could do it in a way that's not disruptive, that's my request.
So I'm not experiencing anything that you're referring to. So, and I have nothing here. So please, again, don't assume things. Just like Alex earlier, where we just said, "Hey, look, this is what we're experiencing." Don't assume that you understand why you're experiencing. Just state what it is that you're experiencing.
No,
Okay.
so I thought as well too. So I don't think it was. I apologize for the assumption as well. I can hear myself when I speak, and usually when there's a device connected, that's what happens. And so I think that's why she made that assumption, because I apologize. I did as well.
That's fine. That's fine. I have three computers going on here. Okay, so but there shouldn't be an issue. So if you have an echo, I'm sorry for that.
George, do you happen to have your boundaries in writing so that way they can be emailed?
I can produce them in writing. But again,
Oh, thank you.
my boundary is just one. Okay, clear and conciseness when speaking. Okay, and when another individual is confused about what it is that you're stating, give them the opportunity to ask questions for clarification. That's my only boundary. Okay, that's it. That's it. It's very simple, very sweet.
Awesome. I know that there was another subject that we were going to talk about, and that was the. If you can remind me, I'm so sorry.
Let me turn this up.
It was the meeting norms, but you had
Oh,
said
yes,
them at the
meeting
beginning
norms.
of the meeting.
What was that?
It was the meeting norms, but you had stated them at the beginning of the meeting.
Okay, good.
And then setting the SMART goals.
Yes, SMART goals. So did you take some time, George, to look through that to see if you can get more of an understanding? I know that last time there was kind of a blur when it came to the SMART goals. I just wanted to make sure that everybody had the same understanding of what they were.
Yeah, just checkpoints in order to get to the destination that you're looking to get to.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Tasha, did you happen to have any SMART goals with you today?
I did not, because I thought it might be better for us to go through it step by step.
I did too.
And so I have each of the components, but I don't have the finalized little paragraph that you would have at the end once you make the components of the SMART goal.
Yeah. All right, give me 1 second.
Sorry. It's going to get loud here in a second.
And I'm still here, sorry, my internet's a bit left. Okay, so I did have like an idea for a SMART goal. I don't know if both of you would be on the same page, but it would be again to maintain the children's emotional safety and during the contact attempts or not contact attempts, during this goal towards meeting the reunification. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry, can you elaborate?
What was that? I'm sorry, Jeff. I cannot hear, and I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Again, I do apologize just because of that echo that I'm hearing.
Well, then I'll back out and go back in. Let's see. How do I cancel this? Okay. Rejoin.
Hello, can you both hear me?
I can hear you. Testing. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, the echo's gone. Awesome. Okay.
Thank
Great.
you.
No problem. No problem.
Okay. So just maintaining the children's emotional well-being during this reunification process was a goal that I thought, and again, the small goals are yours, but I'm just bringing to the table, right? Or seeing if you guys have something similar, or what your thoughts are on that.
Well, I mean, their emotions are always important, but we would have to figure out a way of conducting that and controlling it, because reunification is the goal. So if they're uncomfortable, for instance, with it, then that should be what they are addressing in therapy with their counselors and whatnot, because that is the goal. The goal is that. So if they're uncomfortable, then the therapist should be solely trying to figure out how to work around that in order to get them to be on board. So I would say, in their upcoming therapy, this is the topic. Hey, look, dad is trying to get in contact with you. This is what's happening. How do you feel about that? Let's set some uh, communication ways to talk or whatever the case might be. Okay. That way, we're not solely focusing on how they feel about something and then just stopping everything because it's making somebody feel uncomfortable.
So the point of the SMART goals is more like for here for the both of you, just to get like an understanding what the goal would be for that reunification. Of course, if there's uncomfortability with the kids, they're gonna be uncomfortable. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, what has been again how you just mentioned it is that there is gonna be a reunification. There just has to be, like mentioned, that process. So they are, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tasha. Going to be working towards that in the therapy, but these SMART goals are just goals that we're like you're setting, the both of you, to understand how you're going to get to that reunification, whether or not the kids are talking about it in therapy.
Well, then how is that based on the feelings? Because you had said feelings earlier, and that's what kind of threw me off. Because, I mean, I don't believe
When
that
I said the
Tasha.
SMART goal,
Yeah, when we're talking about the SMART goal,
I said their emotional well-being.
yeah, their emotional well-being.
Uh-huh.
So just elaborate on that for me a little bit because I might be a little confused
Well, it
about.
doesn't necessarily just have to do with feelings. Like emotional well-being is just their emotional well-being. So anything that has to do with how they're feeling, the way that they're doing physically, emotionally, and so they can be uncomfortable. That might be a term that could be used. A feeling that they're feeling is uncomfortability, but it can be maybe they're overwhelmed. Maybe that they're just maybe a little not scared in the sense of you, but like to get to that reunification, and so
Yeah,
the overall picture is just for you both to understand that the children's well-being is a number one is a goal. And
yeah,
again,
no, I
the
mean,
children are involved. Yes, if you can just let me speak.
yeah,
They again, that is going to be worked on in therapy. And again, Tasha, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but these goals are just what you guys are setting for each other to understand that that's how you will get there.
yeah,
And so um, and it's not the only thing we're going to focus on. So these SMART goals, I'm sure there'll be many. So you might
yeah,
bring forth to the table, 4 or 5 SMART goals, or 3 or 2, um, or and Tasha the same 4, 5, 3 or 2. And so it's just bringing them together to just seeing what it is that you will both be working on to get to that point. I
yeah,
just brought up the children at first because the children are the entire point of the reunification.
yeah,
And so because there has been some, being overwhelmed and having a little bit of that trauma and stuff like that. That's why I brought that as number one. But again, we
yeah,
don't have to keep it number one. The SMART goals are yours. They're
yeah,
for you and Tasha and the children. So it wasn't something again that I was bringing forth just to kind of see what to get it flowing, right? And to see if you either wanted to scratch that or add a new one on top of that or both. It doesn't matter. It's both of yours is SMART goals.
yeah. No, I agree with you. I just, as you were describing it, I'm very little. I'm very literal. So when you said emotions, I'm thinking feelings. But when you described it, you're talking about also their physical well-being. To me, emotional well-being and physical well-being are separate. So emotional and physical well-being is what you're trying to say. So I apologize for that. But
Well,
yes,
their well-being.
yeah, their well-being. Yeah, their well-being. Yeah, that covers both. So yeah, that's fine. I don't believe that that's the issue. I think that Tasha and I um, both want the well-being, the best well-being for the kids. We just have different opinions on what that looks like. So, but that's fine. I think that's a good starting point.
Okay.
As far as the baseline. But
I
in
think
Did you
it
say?
does.
Yeah, I think you did. George.
yeah, I'm here. Oh, I'm here. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Sorry,
can hear you
you
now.
froze. Can you
You're
repeat
frozen.
what you were saying?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Well-being. I was saying that I believe that Tasha and I both want the best for the kids. We just have different opinions on it. So that
Yeah, so that's the point of the SMART goal. Is
yeah,
to just so this is not again, this is not for there's no right or wrong when it comes to setting any SMART goals. If you, again, when you have yours, she has yours. There's no right or wrong. You may disagree, yes. It's just these are just implementing, some goals for the main goal. The main goal is reunification, but we're setting
Yeah.
these SMART goals. And you might not agree with them, and that's okay. And again, this was just mine. And Tasha, if you want to have any, or you, George, if you want to bring forth one, right now, because that's just something. Again, as mentioned, it was just something that I was putting out there to kind of give an example of what one of those SMART goals would be, and then we would talk about them being measurable, what that would look like. It's just that was just an example. But,
Yeah, no, I get you. I get you.
Yeah, it just should be a stepwise process, I think, just a step by step. So,
Yeah.
maybe what should be the next step? I was thinking that we could set a SMART goal. Well, I have a few of them, so we can just talk about them and then pick one, I guess. Or if George has one, or if what I say, George thinks of something, whatever, right? It's just a brainstorming space, right? So what I was thinking was we have to wait until we get the referral, right? And so for me, again, that could be a month, it could be 2 months, it could be 3 months.
Yeah.
In that time, we need to keep moving forward, okay?
Yes.
And so in the SMART goal, in this part, the time-bound part, because we don't know what the time-bound part is, then we can just set that part to until we get our first family therapy session, because when we have our first family therapy session, then we will set goals for family therapy, right? So I think that the goals that we set here right now is just the interim goals to help us to continue to move forward in a safe and healthy way until we can get into the first session of family therapy. So I think that the time-bound part should be in the interim. And then no matter what the goal is, right? And so the goal here that I was thinking was trying to identify what would be the interim steps, right? Because the court is requiring for us to complete a certain amount of things or to do a certain number of things. And so in order to cooperatively do that, I think that the goals should be based off of kind of that court process, because the court process includes the family therapy. That's one of the overall reunification goals, right? So like we have layers on an onion, right? So we have reunification is the largest goal, but then we have all the way down to the smallest goal of how do we incrementally work on that so that can happen without either person feeling coerced or disrespected or something like that, right? Civilly. This is what civil means. So how do we work together civilly? And so my thought was, because the first step in the process here is to figure out maybe what is the best for each person to do in preparation for family therapy. Because again, the kids have their own goals that they're working on right now, because they have their regular school, day-to-day teenager life stuff that they're working with right now. And so all of this is just an extra added layer of stress on them that they then have to manage, right? Because again, it's a big deal turning into a teenager. And so they really have a lot compounded on them. And then on top of their anxiety disorder and the depression disorder, right? So there's even more. And so we really have to be so careful to move in their time. And so I think that by us setting our setting a goal for us to set our own personal goals to work on, and then we come and have a weekly meeting where we talk about, okay, this is what I worked on this week.
Oh, I think that's amazing. That's a good idea.
That's kind of what I had in mind, as kind of what popped in my head first, is because again, we each have to individually work on our part, right? And healing on our part. And so in order for us to be able to all sit in a room together, and I think that just us individually preparing, because I mean, I don't want to say in a room together on the first time, but maybe it's first we get on camera, and then we have some sessions like that, and then we would have, then we would see, is everybody ready, right? Again, it's going to be a very long, slow, arduous process that has to unfold in its own time. But how are we each individually preparing for this process? So that was my idea.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I'm sorry?
Oh no, for your thoughts. Sorry about that.
I said I don't have a problem with that. But question for you, Alex. Has Open Heart diagnosed the kids with anxiety and depression disorder?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. But the meeting that Tasha is saying weekly would need to be talking about what is happening outside of therapy, okay, as well. What is she doing in order to assist the kids with this? Because this is going to be, this is, like she said, this is a journey. And as like a teacher, a teacher will teach the kids when they're at school, but if the parent isn't helping them with their homework, they're missing. Okay, so this is going to be a lot for her, because she's going to, I feel like Tasha is going to have to help the kids when they are at home, and that's what the meetings that we're going to have weekly are going to be about. Give me a quick second.
I'm going to say something.
Go ahead.
When he comes back.
I mean, I'm not, I just need to sign in, that's all.
That's okay, take your time.
We're good.
So George, this is where it would be a good idea for you to start to attend the CFTs, because then you would know what the kids are working on in therapy, because those CFTs are with the case manager and the therapists.
One moment. So, try not to assume that you're aware of what I'm doing or not doing. I attend all my CFTs, and what I was specifically saying was what was happening outside of therapy. Okay, so I go to the CFTs. I talk to Alex quite extensively. I get the documentation that I need for Open Heart, so I'm very well versed on what's happening with that. What I'm specifically saying is outside of that, at home. The kids may tell the therapist, for instance, the kids are telling the therapist A, and then you say the kids are saying B, right? There's a contradiction there. How are we adjusting that? How are we answering that? And what are you doing if you're in the B part is not in line with reunification? That's what I'm saying. So
then you would know that through your CFT, because the whole point of the CFT is to relay progress towards their therapy goals.
No.
And I don't mean to
and
interrupt you,
communicating
Tasha,
what's going on. Yeah, go ahead.
but I did want to mention, George, if you are receiving that documentation from Open Hearts, I mean, it's all on the documentation as well.
It's on the documentation?
Yeah. So if you're pulling documents from Open Hearts, everything that's on there is showing, like, what their treatment goes around there, their So I mean, if you are doing that, it should be on there as well.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not trying to tell you right now, because I can explain them to you, but
Yeah, no,
just because you did mention that you put that documentation.
yeah, no, that's not what I'm saying. So you have Open Heart, and then you have Tasha's house. The CFTs is talking about Open Heart. The CFTs are not talking
But we don't just talk about open hearts. We talk about what's going to be done outside of the home, what the family's working on. You know, the whole point of the CFT is that, you know, the child family team meeting is to talk about everything in general. So it's not just what open hearts is doing. It's how the child is doing, regardless of whether it's with the services. Then we talk about how the services help. If we need to implement more, what kind of additional goals to work on. But the overall meaning is how the child is doing, regardless of whether it's with the agency or not.
right. So what I'm saying is
That's
that
including school. That's including school.
Yeah.
It includes home. It includes school. It includes everything. It's a whole holistic approach.
yeah. So
if you're pulling the documentation and you are attending the CFTs, then you would be aware that that is already and has happened continuously for years.
right. So what I'm saying is
What
that
she's doing. No. I understand what you're trying to say is what she's doing at home regarding that reunification. And again, I think we just started this process, so I don't know if she's doing anything else regarding reunification. But as far as what they work on at the CFT with the agency, I mean, she does that with them at home, because we talk about it during the CFTs and we talk about it in the documentation. It's just what I was trying to relay to you, is that you're stating like if she's doing any of that at home. And so again, the reunification since it just started, I don't know. I can't speak for her, but I know that outside of the home, I mean, of the agency, when it comes to their goals of anxiety, depression, things like that, they are documented because we do talk about them.
right. So
Yes, because he's looking for proof for court. So that's your proof for court. So attending the CFTs and getting the documentation for Open Hearts, that's your proof that I personally at home with the kids and working towards reunification. Because that's how you know that those things are in alignment.
So again, I'm asking, all right, to not assume what I'm doing. My goal here is to see my kids, Tasha. Yes, we will more than likely have to go to court because we don't see eye to eye, okay? But while we're here, I am trying to figure out the best course of action.
So, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt both of you again. I think that we kind of relate away from what we were talking about. It was the goals. George, you have a really good point of what you mentioned about whether she's working towards that. But I think that right now the focus is how we're all here, is to focus on an individual goal and what your thoughts were on that, because the children are talking about this in therapy. And Tasha, I assume, and again, I don't mean to make any assumptions here, we'll be talking about this at home as far as reunification. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then come back to these weekly visits with those goals, while at the same time, simultaneously, the children are talking about this in therapy. So when we begin the family therapy, it's not just kind of like throwing everybody in the loop, and the kids are kind of like, wait, what do we do? What do we talk about? They're going to be prepared, and then you're both individually and all together going to be prepared. And
right.
So that individualistic approach is just kind of like what you yourself have to work on, and I think that at this point we're all here is because everyone plays a part, right? So everyone does individualistically have to work on something, and so that way we can bring it together to work on together. Because again, it's like a car has moving parts, right? It takes all these little moving parts to make the car run, and so I thought that might be a good approach, and then thank you for Tasha for bringing that up, because I was trying to move quickly into just the family set. But again, George, your question I think was it made a lot of sense, but I don't know if we'd want to revert back to the question of that individual goal that we were talking about.
What individual goal? I'm simply saying, I'm simply piggybacking.
Yeah. So is that something you want Tasha to work on? Is that what your question was?
No.
Because I took the understanding that you were just saying if she was doing that, and so I don't know if you were trying to piggyback off of that, and
no.
It was a question as opposed to what you think she should work on. Is that what you were trying to say, or
no?
Am I
no, because it's kind of implied that that's what she'll work on, because that's what she's here.
Well, now you're making the assumption
No,
because she was stating an individual goal for herself, but I don't know if that's what she was gonna say. Or
no,
were you gonna say that,
no,
Tasha?
no. What I was referring to specifically is that Tasha said that we were going to have weekly meetings like this.
Yeah.
Okay, right. The CFTs and the documentations, I get them later, so I don't get them in real time. So
You froze
it.
again, George.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Are you?
That's so funny.
Because like,
If you froze, I don't know what to tell
no,
you. You froze.
it's fine. It's it's internet, right? We're not in person. So my what I'm trying to say is that in the meetings that we're gonna have weekly that she's talking about, we will have to discuss things that are happening in real time, right? The CFTs
Hmm.
are once a month. The documentations is every 6 weeks, right? That doesn't help
Uh-huh.
when you're really trying to be proactive. So what I'm saying is that we will have to really work in real time because next
Yeah.
week we're going to have to discuss it. So if a problem is arising, um, we're going to
Oh yeah.
have
Well.
tools to try to counteract that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's all I was
Uh-huh.
saying.
And we'll have an hour, for every session. So I think that hopefully, right? I mean, an hour for a week is not realistically, it's not always the greatest time. But if there
It's
are
better
real
than
time
nothing.
issues to address, then we can, yeah, better than nothing. And so we can address them. But I think that and again, I do agree with you on that because we do need to address those in real time. And so absolutely, 100%. Um, and hopefully, again, the hour it is better than nothing. Again, you're right. Um, I just think that the individual, while we also kind of at the same time, because I doubt that an individual goal is going to take us an hour to talk about, so we can
Yeah,
start, like, when we start a meeting, set the ground rules, the meeting norms, and then we can talk about each that individual goal. It probably take us about maybe 20 minutes, and then the rest of the time would be we have to address anything in real time. Um, but I do believe that an individual goal for oneself would be good, because that way, there are things that each of you have to work on. And so I do think that that would be something realistic to set. Um, Again, both of you can take the floor. I'm just here to, right, to just kind of give my thoughts.
no, I think that we're on the same page as of right now.
Okay, awesome. So Tasha, did you have anything to say? I'm sorry, I know that we were.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm typing up here.
Absolutely.
I'm drafting the goal here. Hold on one second. I forgot I had a chat. Okay. This is what I drafted so far while you were talking. So on a weekly basis, we will check in with Alex, our case manager, on individual goals. This will continue until we have our first family therapy session. Meeting agenda is as follows: individual goal check-in, family goal check-in, and then real-time support.
I'm looking at that now. All right,
I was just typing what you and George were talking about.
Yeah, sorry, I know. I apologize for that.
George, did you see the chat?
I'll go ahead and let him.
It's loading. Yes, I see it. Yes.
All right, and I'm looking at those as well. Okay. So what? And George, you can let us know when you're done. I'm so sorry.
No, I'm done.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on that? That's what we were speaking about right now. I think we should just put it on, so we can look at that. Look at the tool.
I don't have any issues with that. Meeting
Okay.
agendas follow, individual goals check in, family goal check in,
Yeah.
real time support. Yeah, I don't have
Awesome.
any issues with that.
So, um, if you can both find, think of something that you can work on within yourselves, that could be, that's something that's going to work well with, blending in with the family, for next week, and that way you can, let's see, you can talk about what it was. You can talk about if if you're doing anything to work on that, what you've done to work on that. If you're having any challenges working on that, and then we can go ahead and move forward with that family goal as soon as we finish that. But if that's the homework that we can set in for this session, is to do that. And then again, just one would be fine. Does that sound okay for both of you?
Yes, but I would like to say this. George, you really have to understand that when we're in a healing space, we need time and space to heal. And so if you're coming every Sunday and then you're bringing police, especially when the police in recent weeks have become more aggressive towards us, I don't know if you're aware, but the crime in Mesa has exploded exponentially in the last few weeks.
I'm aware.
It has become incredibly traumatic. And so, again, we're doing our part individually in our therapy sessions to try to heal from all of this trauma that we are continuing to experience, because we have had this long going thing, right? And so, again, I am requesting that you please stop coming with the police every week, because again, your children are requesting from you time and space so that they can work in therapy towards their therapy goals. And so I understand that you may be afraid that all of this may fall apart and you will not see them and all of this. I can understand what your underlying fear is. But this is where you have to trust that, again, I am not trying to have an adversarial relationship with you. I am trying to work with you, and I have been trying to work with you this entire time. And so if we're setting goals and we're setting meeting times, then I'm going to follow through with that. That is my commitment to this. And so, again, you're not...
Damn it, it just cut off.
Are trying to focus on what their own goals are in this process.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you. And I appreciate you acknowledging what you believe my underlying fear is, because you're partially correct. But on the other side of that, Tasha, I don't trust what you're saying. Okay, that's the reason why I show up, amongst the fact that I have the right to do so. It's been 5 years, and the way I see it, and very simply, right, you had 5 years to work on everything that you are trying to say that you're working on now, and you failed to do so. Okay, the way I see it is that before the kids left, they were healthy. There was no suicidal attempts. They loved their father. They loved their family. They had a relationship with everyone over here that was healthy and positive. They were taken. In the middle of them being taken, they still communicated secretly, okay, with me, with their family, in a positive, healthy manner. They confided in us and they shared things. They were found out, that communication was severed, And now that we're back talking about the kids, everything is on the other end. They no longer want to have a relationship with me. They no longer want to have a relationship with their family. And I'm being painted as the reason why for that. And I have had no contact with them. Okay. This doesn't make any logical sense. Okay. Now, with that being said, we go to court and you had your opportunity. It was dismissed in April. I'm reestablishing my rights by showing up and trying to get the kids. I understand that they're saying that they don't want to come. I totally get that. But because you and I can't communicate, you want me to email, you want me to text, it goes back and forth, email me here, email me there, I have to show up with the police, okay? Because you will state things that are not actually factually true. Banging on the doors, trying to gain entry and stuff like that, these things never occur. So this is the reason why the police are there, so that they can document. Now, unfortunately, until I see proof, I'm going to continuously show up. Just be prepared, okay? Just be prepared. So when proof is shown that you are indeed moving towards reunification, and I don't mean just showing up here, okay? When things actually are being done, hey, your kids got your letters. This is what they said about them, right? You called and I'm advocating for them to speak to you. Until I can see that you yourself are advocating for a relationship and encouraging them to have a relationship with me, even if a little relationship, I'm going to still do what I believe is right. I'm going to show up when I'm supposed to, and I'm going to bring the police because I need protection as well. Okay? And that's the bottom line when it comes to that.
I did want to bring something up. Just two things. So the purpose of these meetings are for the reunification, correct? If you don't trust what Tasha's saying, why are we doing these meetings?
We're doing these meetings to, like I stated just now, showing proof. Just because we're here.
So that's all. I thought the whole purpose was for the children.
The children, right, coming. Okay, so I need proof. Okay, just because I need proof. This is not enough proof. Okay, because this that we're doing now could have happened.
But we shouldn't be talking about proof. We should be talking about the children.
Yes, like, the children.
So the entire point of reunification is the children. There's no Tasha. There's no George. There's the children. Yeah. And then because there's the children, there's Tasha and George.
One moment, Alex. One moment. So Tasha's argument is about coming over with the cops. Okay. My thing is that I'm going to come over with the cops until I see actual proof in this that there's something going on, okay, where there is that we can journey through. Okay, this has nothing to do with per se Tasha, but it does because we are still unfortunately a unit. Okay, so until we are all
realistically, George. Mm-hmm. You're not going to see any of that until you get to the actual reunification. So that's in 2 months. There's going to be 2 months worth of what is what I'm trying to find. Like what I'm trying to get to the source of is you're saying that you need proof, but you're not going to see anything until you actually have that reunification. So what is the point of doing these meetings? If your proof is not going to be anywhere until you're standing right in front of them is what I'm stating. So then the purpose of these meetings is for what?
The purpose of these meetings is to...
It's for proof. You're saying proof, but there's not going to be any proof. It's just whatever both of you are going to be stating that you need from each other to get to that point. But if you don't believe anything she's saying, how is that going to be the proof that you're saying that you need?
I don't believe anything that she's saying up until now, and I'm coming in with good faith, and I am listening to what she's saying, and whatever she says, I'm looking for proof with that to say, okay, she said this. This is what she's doing. I have to acknowledge that that's true. Showing up to the meetings and telling me what she wants from me is not proof that she's trying to reunify the kids. Next week.
But I think it's for both of you. So so I feel that there's a lot of pointing fingers here.
No, I'm not
And
pointing
when I say
I'm
that,
not
I mean
pointing fingers. Give me a second,
because she
Alex.
can say that she doesn't trust you either.
And that's fine.
Because you
I
keep
would
showing up
understand.
with the cops.
And I would understand that. Okay, but that's the whole reason for these
But she's
meetings.
not saying that because she's going to give you that benefit of the doubt. She's going to trust that if both of you work towards the process, it will get there. If you both work towards the process.
I've given a lot of energy and effort to this, giving her the benefit of the doubt. And
But we're starting now from these meetings. I'm not trying to bring up what you've done in the past, what she's done in the past. It's from what we started with these meetings. This is a new starting point, and it's to get to that goal that you asked for, right? The unification for the children as well. But I just feel that saying that both of you have played a part already is understandable. You've done it before even I was around for the 5 years. But now that we're at a new starting point with these new meetings, this is a new thing that we're bringing forward. I don't think that stating that both of you have brought in so much energy, because it's clear that both of you have. It's again, what is the purpose?
then why am I going to court for her to gain more power and control just so she can listen? I totally understand her position. Okay.
I'm giving you my perspective. That's not her perspective. I'm giving you my perspective.
Okay.
Whatever I'm saying are my words, my perspective.
No,
she's not even speaking. I don't even know if she's thinking I'm wrong or right.
No.
I might be wrong. I'm just giving you my perspective.
I understand. What I'm saying is that I'm going back to her, and I understand her position. Okay. And again, we're just on opposite ends of the spectrum. Okay. And these meetings are going to try to bring us to a neutral medium point. Okay. This is our second one. All right. So until we get closer, all right, this is just where we are at the current moment. Maybe next week when she shows up and she says, hey, look, this is what happened this week. This is how the kids were functioning. This is what they believe. This is what they're saying. This is the proof.
But that's the thing, though, George, is that that's going to be the family portion of the meeting, if that's even the goal that comes up. Right now it's individual. So realistically, what will that look like to you? If we're talking about individual goals for the next 3 weeks, and then we also talk about family goals, but the children don't come up until the third week, you won't believe anything until that third week is what I'm asking. She's not telling me to ask any of these questions. I'm verbally asking because they're my questions from what I'm trying to understand from what you're saying.
Okay, so then my individual goal, my individual goal would be to be able to gain more faith and trust in her, so that I can give her a little.
But that's not. Okay, so
That's
that's
an individual goal.
You have for yourself.
That's correct. So what?
But you're still bringing her in. You're bringing her into your part of the goal. An individual goal is an individual goal.
Right.
So saying that I need to learn trust.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Goal.
She's the only. Right. That's what I'm saying.
Individual. You stated trusting her. That is not. That's still making her part of your goal. Your goal has to be individual.
My goal is individual. My goal is to trust. Okay. My goal, because I have trust issues.
Okay. So to trust.
So my goal is to trust, but specifically her. Why? Because I trust my mom. I trust my landlord, right? I trust my boss. So these aren't trust issues with them. I'm specifically pinpointing it to the trust that I have with her. I need to have more trust in her, and that's what I'm using these meetings for, is to gain that so that we can help each other move forward for reunification in our sessions that we're going to be having with the family therapy. Okay, so if she's asking me for something and I don't want to give it, I have to first find out why don't I want to give it to her. It's because of trust. I don't trust her. That's the reason why I don't want to give it. So I'm going to try to gain trust in order to give her pieces or what it is that she's asking for. So my individual goal for next week is to gain a little bit more trust, and we'll find out how much more trust I will be able to gain at the end of the session of next week.
Okay. Tasha, I'm 5 minutes over, so I don't know if you had anything that you wanted to state before we schedule the next meeting.
No, I think the next meeting we should just come with our individual goals.
Yeah, sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
I know we had talked about was it next Wednesday, or was that not?
Yeah, it's just tomorrow we have.
Okay, perfect.
Or sorry,
so
no, sorry. It is next Wednesday. So on the 19th, we have a volunteer session
Okay.
with the school at 4:45. So unfortunately, next
19th.
yeah, we can do. Let me
Tuesday?
think.
No.
I'm trying to think about when my prep periods are,
Yeah.
because after school we're booked next week.
Yeah.
And then the week after that is Thanksgiving. So we would be more open the week after that. So can we? For
At
George,
9 o'clock?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock? Yeah, I could do 8 o'clock.
You're
Okay.
breaking. You're breaking up. You broke up just for a quick second. You said I heard 8 o'clock. That's all I heard.
Yes, Thursday the 20th.
Yeah, at 8 o'clock.
20th, 8 o'clock. That's the Thursday, 8 o'clock, 20th.
Yes.
Okay. I'll make it. I'll make it possible.
Sounds good.
And then the week after that, we're off school the entire week, so there's a lot more availability.
Okay.
So yeah, that's it. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Outstanding.
Okay.
Have a good day.
You too.
You too.
You
All right.
too.
Thanks. Bye.
Perfect.
I did the best that I could. I really did. Yeah. And if I'm wrong, I just want to be shown that I'm wrong. Don't tell me I'm wrong because you feel that I'm wrong. You're asking me to do something that you wouldn't even do. You're asking me to just throw away the knowledge that I have in hopes that it's going to benefit differently this time. But if I told you to throw away the knowledge that you perceive and just reunify the kids, you would, you would be hesitant. So I don't believe that it's fair that you ask such a request from me. And